I'm probably going to get accused of being a hypocrite for this, but I do think there is an inherent irony between the fact that there seems to be an ever-increasing amount of self-help content on YouTube, and the very people that are perpetuating this sort of self-help stuff are the same people who are profiting, in effect, from people sitting behind computer screens or behind their phones consuming such content. Now, this isn't to say that these people maybe don't have the best of intentions, but they're certainly profiting from an industry that is perpetuated by people's own failings. And like I say, the fact that this might make me slightly hypocritical isn't completely lost on me. So why, at the risk of putting myself on a pedestal only to shoot myself down, am I going to talk about this? Well, I think it's very important because I believe this so-called pursuit of perfection could actually undermine the real possible benefits to changes we want to make in our lives. But before I explain that, let's of course say, hope you're keeping safe, hope you're keeping sane. In case you didn't see my little YouTube short, apologies if I'm slurring or a bit out of breath. I've actually got a broken nose at the moment. And just to give you a cheap laugh, I could give you some story of heroicism and how I took on 12 blokes who are not happening, right? It was raining. I was sat in the other room, not in here, but in here's a plastic roof. It was raining, so there's some patio doors there. I thought I'd shut the patio doors. And then what did I do? Well, what I didn't do was remember that I'd shut said patio doors, and on wandering back towards the conservatory to pour myself a drink, I smacked my face square into a massive pane of glass. So, I've got a few lacerations, broken nose, blood all over the carpet, all the rest of it. But I'm doing all right. So yeah, there you go. I say that not as a cautionary tale or for any other reason than it explains why my nose is all inflated and I'm sort of, a bit out of breath. Anyway, I wasn't even drunk. That's the worst thing. But that's all by the by, right? Let's talk about self-improvement. Now, why do I think that self-improvement is potentially harmful? Because I don't think it's inherently a bad thing. I watch people like James Smith, who's sort of a health and fitness guy. He's quite down to earth. He talks in real terms, and he's sort of the antithesis of certain people where they are perpetuating a vision of perfection that is for the vast majority of people unachievable. When we go on a journey to change our lives in some significant way, and for the majority of people watching this, like myself, that might be quitting something that you have an addiction to. So gambling, for example, right? You think, I'm going to stop gambling. I've decided I need to quit gambling. I want to quit gambling, and I'm going to do it. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set out this plan. I'm going to put these blocks in, blah, 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 right? This is going to be how the journey's going to go. And quite often we think, well, actually, while I'm doing that, what I'm also going to do to continue to improve my life is I'm going to eat clean, and I'm going to go to the gym more, and I'm going to quit alcohol, and I'm going to start that business, and I'm going to start that YouTube channel, and I'm going to write that book, and I'm going to do this and do that and do all these other great things, right? While I'm on this positive journey, why not change everything about me? Why not take all these positive steps and strive towards perfection? If I was to decide for some reason that I wanted to become world darts champion, okay, it's not beyond the realms of possibility. I'm already looking older than I am, overweight and, losing my hair. So, I'm already halfway there, right? But joking aside, if I wanted to be the world darts champion, I would need to commit hours and hours every single day to practicing darts and becoming as close as is possible to perfect at that particular discipline. What I couldn't do is decide that I wanted to be world champion of darts and world champion of snooker or world swimming champion or whatever, something else, right? Something else entirely. Why? Because the commitment and the dedication to becoming so good at something and as close as is possible to perfect at one thing, okay, comes at the sacrifice of becoming better or improving in other areas. It has to. We only have a finite amount of time to commit to things in our lives. And I believe the same can be said for the elimination of negative habits. It's very tempting when, particularly if you watch and consume a lot of this self-help content, to go, right, well, I was going to quit gambling, so what I'm also going to do is all these other positive things at the same time. Really turn my life around, really make solid improvements. But in the same way, you can't give 100% and become as close as possible to perfect in, all positive attributes and disciplines. You can't necessarily give up all these bad habits at the same time. I personally think if you commit to the thing that you know is going to make the biggest changes in your life, and for most of us that's probably going to be quitting gambling, if you commit so much of your effort to doing that, then quite often you'll find that there are other positive side effects that come along with it, mainly because you're freeing up time, headspace, money, and all the rest of it. But if you put so much focus into trying to do so many different changes, do so many new positive habits, eliminate so many other negative habits, then something is going to give way because you will not be physically capable of keeping all of these things up. And the most dangerous thing about that is that the thing that is likely to give way first is the thing that is you are most susceptible to, which of course would be an addiction. So if I think I'm going to quit gambling, I'm going to go to the gym twice a day, I'm going to learn how to cook meals, I'm going to do this and start a business and make 3 YouTube videos a day and all the rest of it, right? That's not viable. Okay, I'm not going to be able to do that. And when I decide that I'm not going to be able to do that anymore, I give up being perfect, because nobody is perfect. You can't be perfect in all these different areas. Then the thing that is most likely to come back to me in the first instance would be the most negative and destructive behaviour, because that's the thing that kicked it all off. That's the thing that you are addicted to. If you can focus on that one thing, then yes, there will be other positive side effects, but don't try and focus your attention on making too many improvements. You know, yes, there are, of course, linked things. If you find that you gamble a lot when you drink, all right, then maybe it's a good idea to, moderate your alcohol consumption or limit where and when you do it, alongside your desire to stop gambling. That makes some sort of logical sense. All right? But if I strive for perfection, I'm never going to achieve it, because it's an abstract and unachievable concept. Even the people on YouTube that are perpetuating this perceived perfection, be that physical perfection, psychological perfection, spiritual perfection, there is no such thing. You can get very close to something approaching an approximation of perfection in very limited areas, i.e. in my example of becoming the world's best player at darts. All right? But for the majority of us, it's simply not achievable, and striving for that is likely to lead us back into old habits when these plethora of new habits are no longer maintainable, no longer achievable. And when we realise that this vision of perfection that is being held up in front of us is just not real, it's an illusion, it is a mirage, okay? So focus on what you need to focus on first and enjoy the side effects. Enjoy the other benefits that come with that, but don't try and change everything all at once, because you will fail, and you will probably, and if my experience is anything to go by, like I say, not preaching, this is stuff that I know about, right, through scars and not the ones on my nose where I've walked into things, right? In my experience, the first thing to go will be the thing that you are most susceptible failing at, okay? And in my instance, that was gambling. So take the bull by the horns. Do something about that first, and then enjoy the benefits, and then pursue other positive changes. Not to say that, all self-help and motivational content is bad, because I consume it myself and I do get some good ideas from it. All right. And I appreciate that in my own little tiny way, I'm part of that. All right. But just don't buy into the idea of being perfect in so many areas, because it's simply unattainable, and you will see yourself as a failure even through your progression. Your life will be getting better and better, but you'll still perceive yourself as a failure, because you're not this thing that you built up in your mind by over-consuming perfectionism. Stay safe, stay sane, have a great weekend, look after yourselves, and I'll speak to you all soon. Take care, guys.